but I remember, gosh, it was some years ago now, wasn't it? Your first one was called The Unseeing. Is that the name of it? Yeah. And that was very sort of, it felt like it came very much out of the crime world, and maybe some of your background as in the legal world. And a lot of I remember the research was sort of something that you'd stumbled across in some sort of archaic case, wasn't it? And it feels like, having watched your novels kind of develop, there's that element or sort of theme of justice and crime, but also they've got a bit creepier as well, like the supernatural, the Gothic, which is basically what I try and do. And I'm never quite sure whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. But how can you sort of maybe just unpack, like, what are the things that you feel are really fun and like you're sort of naturally drawn to in terms of the stories that you want to tell?
Yeah, I mean, that's also to do with confidence as well, isn't it? I mean, I sort of, absolutely, you're right. My novel, The Unseeing, came from a real case that I did stumble across. It was mentioned in the Suspicions of Mr. Witcher, and it was a case of a woman who was convicted of aiding and abetting a murder in Camberwell, which is where I live, in 1837. So I became sort of slightly obsessed with that case and read a huge amount about it, wrote a short story about it, which won a competition, which sort of gave me the courage to write the novel about it. But I think I was very much at that stage feeling my way, as we all are when we're writing our first novel. I really wasn't quite sure what genre I was writing in, wasn't really sure what I should be writing, wasn't sure how to write a novel. And I'm still not really sure how to write a novel, but at that stage, I certainly didn't know. Whereas by the time I got onto my second one, I was thinking more about what I really wanted to write and the authors that had really inspired me throughout my life, which are, unsurprisingly, if you've read my novels, Daphne du Maurier and Shirley Jackson, and the creepy people, basically, which I think is why I've become creepier and creepier. Or it could be something that's happened as a part of the natural aging process. I'm not sure. Or maybe it's to do with having small kids. I don't know. The darkness has definitely come to the fore anyway. But I don't think I have an entirely rational explanation for it. But I think you do have to, I mean, obviously I would say, do watch what the market is doing. I don't think it's right to, write in a vacuum. Do watch what the trends are and what the bestsellers are and what's doing well. But you also do have to write something that interests you and that you're passionate about, because, as I said, you don't really know what's going to happen within the publishing world. You might end up not getting published, or you might get published, but not very well. So you've got to write something that you really love. And it turns out I like dark, weird stuff. So there you go.
Thanks for watching this clip from the History Quill podcast, all about writing and publishing historical fiction. If you want to find out more about the topics discussed, check the description for a link to the full episode and the episode page on our website, where you can access a range of relevant resources. You can also join our email list to receive new podcast episodes and more content for historical fiction writers. And of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, and switch on notifications.